50%. 그렇지. 너네 이렇게 맞게 보면. 저렇게 보면 손들라 손들이 마냥 서로서 월차임 계절 뭐이라 저기 이렇게 하면서 네 하고 봐. 얘네 이거 쳐라. 니저 sign in. Sorry. I saw it, Colin. I saw it.
You saw it.
What
This one, the password. Oh, this one, the change. No, come. Correct. Eh, sorry, I always touch screen. Sorry, use my touch screen. This is lower C. Lower C. Pepsi. Sorry. Wait. Don't come, John. Wait. Fine.
Do we have a picture of the Vajrasattva? It was distributed last night. Yeah. A picture, yes. Same as
Correct.
You can kiss.
Correct. Center at 11. Correct. Come back in.
I don't need that.
Huh?
Because it's same.
Go out and come back in. No, it's nothing to do with that. Center. I'm not here. I don't need to cap, is it? Yes. Sorry. I'll try my best already.
Can I see? Yeah. Same. But the picture and the whole is different.
Password is what? Use. This is not user. Center activity. TBC. Okay, TBC. Don't have a problem clicking down.
그래서 이게 일체로 저기 흔들하고 안에
You're not in Facebook. This is logged into Facebook. Yeah,
May
but
all
we haven't
living beings be
record.
free from suffering and its causes. May all
Yeah,
living
but we haven't.
beings have the causes,
Okay, hold on. Jacqueline is doing
have
Zoom.
happiness
Wait,
and its
you're in
causes.
already. Yeah,
May
we're
all
in already.
living
Just
beings
stop.
never be separated from great bliss or
Jacqueline has a-
great joy, which comes from just free
Yeah,
from suffering. And may all living beings stay in equanimity. Simje, Namje, Dewa, Nan, Deve, Gyodan, Dembare, Gyoje, Simje, Namje, Dunye, Dan, Dunye, Gyodan, Jeware, Gyoje, Simje, Namje, Dunye. Actually, this is the one, it's on the first page, it says here. Simje, but there's no Tibetan rendition here. Simje, Namje, Niri, Jama, Nidan, Jewe, Nanyom, Lan, Nebare, Gyoje, Chi. Okay, in English, maybe. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separate from higher rebirths and the supreme bliss of liberation. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred, not holding some close and others distant. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from higher rebirths and supreme bliss of liberation. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred, not holding some close and others distant. Okay. All right. So we will try to focus on the practice itself. Okay. Mazam jume jira paru jin ma ye mega nam ye mo nien so so jan re ye je ju. De zumi give yum lan cha ze lo de ya ta ga de para sam ga de bo ye so ha. De ya da ga de para sam ga de bo ye so ha. Deanda gade para sanga odi so ha kiri tonga gejo shewa na medun nebe gena jawa tumbara jurjin bezuma sojon tashi de nyan ding de le sho. In order to receive the teaching, please offer the mandala to the teacher. So, Yeah. Okay. Good. Very good evening to all of you. Yeah. Good evening. Thank you, and welcome back. Um, so, um, yeah, today is Vajrasattva practice. We had the initiation yesterday, so we will go through the practice meaning. So until we reach enlightenment, all the all the activities that we do, all the spiritual activities that we follow is regarded as practice. So when you become the Buddha, when you attain enlightenment, then it is no longer practice. Other than that, it's all practice. But practice does not mean it's more of a training stage, right? It does not necessarily mean, in general, practice does not mean it's a drill. Practice, it's a form of training, and at the same time, it's practical as well. So practice, just because it says it's called a practice, does not mean it's it's a training stage and it's not real thing. Just like a law practice or a doctor's practice. Practice here means the real thing, the practical thing. So this is the sadhana. And in order to follow a sadhana, it's highly recommended that you receive an initiation. Once you are initiated, then you have sort of full authority to follow that sadhana. And sadhana can have that they're varying different types of sadhana based on different types of different classes of tantra and classes of tantra. So this particular sadhana is based on the Kriya Tantra. So therefore, it's a solitary, single, no consort, and the practice. There's the visualization part is also very much simplified. Yeah. So therefore, and it's the efficacy of the practice are all same in general. Same means it depends on your capability. For example, if you are a larger person, you need to maybe eat more. If you are skinny, you eat less. And it's based on your own capacity to ingest. So what is good or what is bad, what is the right amount? There is no sort of golden rule as to what is the right amount. Similarly, the four classes are dependent on the practitioner, and even within a practitioner, yeah, it's not like, okay, I used to practice Kriya Tantra in the past. Now I have reached the level of advanced practitioner, and now I only practice what is that? Like Advaiti, highest tantra. So I no longer practice Kriya Tantra. It's not like that. So on a daily basis, you can for example, on a day-to-day thing, we have how to say sophisticated meals, and at the same time we have simple meal on different days. So there's no such thing as I have now reached a very high level of society. I only eat sophisticated meal and I no longer eat any simple meal. I don't eat fruit, right? And everything has to be cooked in a certain way. No, it's not like that. But on a given day, there are varying stages where you take different food for different purposes. Similarly, the four tantras are practiced in such a way. So in oh yeah. So as we discussed last night, the Vajrasattva practice, the Vajrasattva deity, the Vajrasattva sadhana, Vajrasattva can be practiced. Oh, I think we didn't discuss that with the public. Someone asked the question last night to me. So my memory. So yeah, so the Vajrasattva can be practiced as in different tantric classes, right? So if you have received a highest yoga tantra in general, if you have received a highest yoga high tantra, then you can practice the Vajrasattva in the higher yoga tantra form. Just for simplification, but let's say you have received a Yamantaka initiation and you are doing the Yamantaka sadhana, and within that Yamantaka sadhana, before you come to the actual point of Yamantaka, the very essential point of Yamantaka sadhana, prior to that, there is the part where you have to do the Vajrasattva, how to say, you can say Vajrasattva mini sadhana, you have to do that. And in that case, the Vajrasattva is in the form of Yamantaka in that case, okay? If you're doing a Yamantaka practice, sadhana, Yamantaka sadhana, and then the Vajrasattva is in the form of, in actuality, it's Vajrasattva, but he appears in the form of Yamantaka. And the Vajrasattva, which is Yamantaka, which is actually none other than Vajrasattva. And depending on, and then generally, it's if it's the highest tantra, the Vajrasattva would have a concert, and that with the concert, you would have the sacred union, and within that sacred union, so basically there's a whole set of bit more complicated or a bit more advanced, bit more multiple level of visualization to do. But the rest is same. So as a Vajrasattva, as Yamantaka, then you do the purification. You do purification in the highest yoga tantra way, the Anuttara tantra way, and by doing so, the little difference between this one and the HYT tantra is when there is a sacred union, the nectar comes from the climactic experience of the sacred union. Then the nectar is stripped down and that nectar is purified. That nectar purifies your negativities. In the solitary case, which is in the Kriya Tantra, the nectar comes from the heart of the Vajrasattva. It comes out as a light and then transforms into nectar, and the nectar fills you up and then purifies, etc. So the point I'm trying to make is that if you do, let's say, HYT practices, then the Vajrasattva practice is already part and parcel of the HYT, let's say, Yamantaka practice or Heruka practice. So therefore, in case you wish to do the Vajrasattva practices or sadhana, and then you don't have time or whatever, doing the Vajrasattva as part of the Vajrasattva part of practice, as part of the Yamantaka practice, suffices. But if you do the Vajrasattva practice, if you do the Heruka practice, and then you also do the Vajrasattva in the like the solitary or the Kriya Tantra version as well, the more the merrier, the more the better, the more effective, because you want to anyway. So that's something just want to tell you. Those of you who have received highest tantra, then you can do the Vajrasattva with the consort, and that also suffices as a Vajrasattva practice. It's not necessary just because you receive this Vajrasattva single the Kriya Tantra version, so that you need to do the sadhana just as this one. If you're doing a HYT sadhana practice, then the Vajrasattva practice that is part of the HYT practice, whole package, suffices as a Vajrasattva sadhana, and you don't need to do it as an extra. Those of you who may not have received HYT and then have just received the Vajrasattva may wish to do so through this book itself. And so for that, we will So we will first go through this book together, and then as a sort of an instruction in an instruction manner, and then we will do the practice together. Okay. So Vajrasattva or any Kriya Tantra practices are highly recommended to be done in the morning, early morning, before you have breakfast, especially any activity. Because when the first thing after you wake up, you don't necessarily have any negative thought. You're just kind of the mind is fuzzy. At the very least, it's fuzzy, so it doesn't have the sort of the capability to think something sinister, which is a good thing. And then your stomach is empty. You had a So that's a good thing to start. So any Kriya Tantra related practices you need to do it in the morning. Okay. But if you cannot do in the morning, evening is also fine. All the Kriya Tantra, it's not a restriction, but it's highly recommended that you do without taking non-vegetarian food. Yeah. It's more effective that way. So let's say like White Tara practices, Medicine Buddha practices, Vajrasattva practices, and Chandrisic practices, all these things, if you do it before you have taken any non-vegetarian meal, then it's better because your, how to say, the vessel, the body, right, is clean that way. So it's a recommendation, but not necessarily restricted in such a way, right? In general. So there's something called the morning activities, to which I will come later, or probably I'll come later. So I will first, so any sadhana, any practice you do, yeah, you need to have the proper bodhisattva motivation, because this is a Vajrayana practice, means by default it's a Mahayana practice. By default, it's a Buddhist practice. So for that, as a part of Buddhist practice, you need to take refuge in the Triple Gem. You might have taken the refuge like 10,000 times before, but every now and then you need to reaffirm yourself. So therefore, Sangye Chunam, that part. And I take refuge for the sake of all sentient beings. So that is the bodhicitta aspect. And so that is there. And the four immeasurables is an additional practice. This is the four immeasurables. Yes. Yeah.
Early in the morning before breakfast. But does it, if you don't take a cup of coffee, do you still consider it breakfast?
Cup of coffee, I don't think is a breakfast. But it's just a recommendation. Empty stomach. Yeah, you can start with a cup of coffee. No problem. It's better. Maybe more purification. Someone raise hand? No, right? You raise hand? Yeah.
Just wake up, then we can finish.
Oh, the shower may be good because you don't want Vajrasattva. You want to be smelly in front of Vajrasattva. In general, in India, people have this habit of taking something called bedtime tea. So bedtime does not mean sleeping bedtime. When they wake up, they like to take a cup of tea in the bed. Usually, if they have a server, someone working in the house, they would bring to the bed, or maybe their wives. Anyway, so this habit can be seen anywhere, even if you're not in a bed, especially if you travel early morning in the airport, whatever. Then people have this, because they have built up this tendency, so they take the morning cup of tea. So the morning cup of tea is like an alarm for the bowel movement. So right after they take the morning tea, then everybody is lining up at the bathroom. Yeah. So for some people, it's coffee. So the ones they take coffee or they smell coffee, the bowel movement starts awakening. So then you have like real purification at the very least. At the very least, you have the purification or how to say, flushing of your defilements, physical defilements. Yeah. So yeah, good idea to take a coffee. But yeah, you can take a coffee, no problem. Usually it's about what's referred to as unhygienic food that you should not, before you take an unhygienic food, then you do the practice. So in the Kriya Tantra, so non-vegetarian dishes are considered unhygienic because blood and all these things are there. So it's considered unhygienic and it's considered unpresentable. Of course, we make the dishes, every dishes, non-vegetarian dishes too. We make it look very nice and everything so that it is palatable and all that. But I mean, human beings in general cannot eat raw meat, right? To a certain extent. So therefore, it's not palatable in its very natural or raw form. That means it's unhygienic. Okay. Anyway, so we discussed last night what the Kriya Tantra was intended for. So a large number of pre-Buddhist people, great philosopher, thinker, yogis that are part of traditions that precedes Buddhism. So after meeting with the Buddha, after engaging in conversation or debates or dialogues with the Buddha, or convinced by his presentation of the truth, and then they want to follow him. And because they're very highly intelligent and all that, they're also they're eligible for Vajrayana teachings. And because they have a very strong background from their tradition, which is known as the Brahmanical tradition, which is a stickler for hygiene, cleanliness, and all that. Basically, it's a very puritanical form of practice, Brahmanical practice. So therefore, appeasing them is not the proper wording, or appealing to them is also may not be the right form of, but let's try another way. Skillfully including those students the Buddha taught in such a way that the whole practice is presentable and aesthetically acceptable. Yeah. So that is the Kriya Tantra. That's why you have to do it early in the morning. Okay. So except for a cup of coffee. Yeah, you get, yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, taking shower, brushing your teeth, all these are, you must do. But before doing any of that, okay, let's do a little bit addition. The moment you wake up, sit up on your bed, or maybe just lying is also fine. It's important to have this recognition that I'm so lucky to be alive today. It's like a rebirth. We're talking about having a higher rebirth, good rebirth in the next life. But every tomorrow is a rebirth. And today is yesterday's tomorrow. Right? So So therefore, you are able to have this future in your hand, yesterday's future. So be very joyful that you are able to be alive. If you want to go a little deeper, I don't know the actual statistics, but I don't know, like 600, 900,000 people die every day. So you're not part of that group. And so many others are, much more number is sick. And then, okay, if you are sleeping, most likely you are on a bed. I think tens of thousands of millions of people don't have a bed, don't have a blanket. And most likely, if you're woken up by a alarm, that's due to you have a cell phone. A large number of people don't have that. If you have that, that means you have a charger, means you have electricity. That means you have a lot of accessibility and everything. And so basically, to be grateful for the fact that you are alive today, just to be grateful that you're alive. I know life is not as smooth as you had imagined it when you were a kid. But then compared to so many people in the world, tens of millions of people in the world, your life is much better. Of course, there are millions of other people whose life is much better than yours too. And that is not part of your practice. By thinking about those people who are doing much better than you, or supposedly doing much better than you, because you only see what people are showing you, right? So the so-called successful people are only showcasing the success version, so not the hard work version. Yeah. Then you don't see that. You only see the success part for how long? 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 1 hour, like that. Then you think that is the whole picture. There's something called in the movies, 2 hours movie, behind the scene, 3 months, 12 months, 18 months, 5 years, right? So there's a lot of hard work behind that. You don't see that. Just like you are struggling, every person in this world who are seemingly successful, happy, have reached, have done this, done that, achieved great achievement. Everybody has gone through that hardship. So you're not the only one. In any case, just be grateful that you are alive today. And now, what are you going to do if you're alive? You have 24 hours to live, supposedly, once again, because impermanence, let's say 24 hours, how are you going to spend that? How many seconds in 24? How many minutes in 24 hours? Anyway, yeah, but you can just get it from, just calculating. Anyway, so there is an awful number of minutes, seconds, moments in that. So how much of that are you going to, well, basically you have to do something meaningful, useful, something that you won't be regretting. Just let's say for the sake of argument, this is your last wake up. And then when you are sleeping tonight, you get the sign that, okay, tomorrow you will not be able to wake up. So just in case this is your last wake up, just a living day, then what are you going to do? Okay. Anyway, don't go too deep like that. Just be grateful that you are alive and that you will utilize this moment, this day, that to the fullest, to the fullest. There was one of the masters, one of our masters, he gives this example, an analogy, like for example, so this is to to see the preciousness of human life. So he gives this analogy of for one day, just for one day, 24 hours, you were given this a mint, a money printing machine, but you have the legal authority to print as much cash as you want, right? Like if you do not have the authority and print it, then you go to jail for counterfeit, right? But if you get the legal authority to print as much money as you want, you can, and and you can keep all of that. Then are you going to, what's the largest bill denomination in Singapore? 100 or 500, 200? 1,000. Oh, wow, you have 1,000. Okay. So are you going to keep printing $1,000 or $1, $2? Well, the answer is simple, right? If you have 24 hours, probably you are going to keep printing until the 24th hour. Keep printing, and you most likely will keep printing the $1,000. You will not print the $1, $2 like that. So therefore, yeah, so do the meaningful thing, do something that is everlasting. If you are because you have only 24 hours to print the money, and tomorrow they're gonna take it away from you, right? So you need to utilize it fully. So similarly, utilize your day fully to do something impactful, do something good, do something that you will not regret. Like that. Anyway, do something meaningful. Do something meaningful, especially that is beneficial. What is meaningful is something that is that's beneficial. Beneficial not only for yourself, beneficial for just for yourself is called selfishness. So beneficial for yourself and your community, to a lot of people, the more the merrier. Then it's meaningful. It's considered meaningful. Yeah. And generally, we think like, today I'm so lucky to be alive. The fact that I am alive is due to the blessings of my guru, the Buddhas, the Idam, the Bodhisattvas, to all the deities that I practice. And today, this very day, I will use it to the fullest for the service of sentient beings. I will dedicate this day, not my whole life, dedicate this day for the sake of all sentient beings. Yeah. For the sake of all sentient beings, basically, it does not mean something like, okay, just say the word and don't mean anything. For the sake of all sentient beings means, if you bring the Bodhisattva way of thinking, to serve sentient being to your fullest, you need to be at your best. And your best is when you become Buddha. So serving all sentient beings not necessarily mean, okay, I stop everything now, come out, and then go to the street and keep asking everyone, do you need help? Do you need help? That's not what it means. Okay? A lot of people think that there's always criticism saying, oh, those who do Dharma practice or sit in meditation, they're not doing anything for the society, blah, blah, right? That's not necessarily, that's not necessarily the case. At the very least, those who are sitting in the solitary meditation in caves are not contributing to the violence and everything that's happening in the world. they're living in a self-sustained way and minding their own business, harming no one. Anyway, develop yourself to the fullest so that you can serve people better. Right? If you are not fully equipped, then you cannot serve others. So the first thing important, this you must do. Every morning you wake up, just feel grateful. Okay, simplify. Every morning you wake up, feel grateful. And what do you do with gratefulness? Just be grateful and then go back to sleep or do whatever you think. No, right? Be grateful and just make a commitment, reaffirmation that you will dedicate this day to something meaningful. I'm not going to waste today, like that. Now with this, then you can get up, wash, shower, coffee, whatever. Now, okay, then come to let's say we are doing the Vajrasattva practice. And you sit down. So preferably you will arrange the altar, arrange the altar. This is another big topic, but just basically you arrange the altar. If not, you can just have a image of a Buddha, and then either physically or visually present some offering there, like a water bottle at the very least. And you can change that water bottle once a week, like if you have that this kind of water bottle. If you have the leisure, you can make the 7 bowl offering, etc. So it's the more the merrier. Yeah. After that, you take prostration. So the prostration, sit down and start the practice. Sangye Chodan, Soye Chodan, that one. And then come to this practice. So, so above the crown of one's head. So basically, because you have received the initiation, so on your crown or on the top of your head, visualize a white syllable pam. So pam is here. That's a Tibetan pam. So letter pam is there. That pam represents the wisdom realizing emptiness. So in essence, in reality, this is the wisdom that sees or realizes emptiness. So I'm not going to speak long about emptiness, but that's basically that nothing is nothing is existent inherently, that everything is interdependent, that free from independent existence is called, that freedom or that free from independent existence is called the emptiness. So the emptiness, but your understanding of emptiness must come from yourself. This is more of an introductory form, just introducing the idea of this. What I'm just talking about is idea of emptiness. When we talk about the so-called emptiness, Heart Sutra, this thing is the idea of emptiness. It's not necessarily emptiness itself. Emptiness has to be experienced. So anyway, the wisdom that sees or that perceives emptiness, the wisdom that can see emptiness, it transforms into the letter pam. So think of that letter pam, white syllable pam, as the what is that? In reality, it's the understanding of emptiness, but in appearance, it appears like a letter pam. So pam symbolizes or represents wisdom. Wisdom, the ultimate wisdom of seeing emptiness. Then this pam transforms into a white lotus, right? Which is clear and radiant. Yeah, so it says here. At the center of the lotus, there is appears a white A. So I is in the middle on A home. I is the middle one. I is the middle one. Then that A represents the great bliss. So we talked about it a little bit last night. Great bliss, and bliss is a joyfulness. It's an emotion. Wisdom is an intellectual understanding. So in general, intellectual understanding and emotional feeling are two different things. You can be happy by understanding something. So the joyfulness is a byproduct of understanding something good, or sorrow is the byproduct of understanding something bad, right? But basically, there is a distinction between the two. There is, you can say, a dualistic sort of existence. There's a dualism between what is felt and what is understood. But the goal in Vajrayana is, so basically, when you reach enlightenment, these two things become one. Or to put it in a more appropriate way, this thing, which we see as two, actually turns out into what it really is, which is one. It's one entity with two different functions. So anyway, the wisdom that sees the truth also experiences the joy of seeing the truth. So basically, it's something like the eyes can feel. Usually, the eyes see something, and the heart feels the pain or the joy. But this, to put it to give a simple analogy, it's like the eyes see something sort of something negative or something bad going on, and then it can actually see, not only see but feel the pain. The eye can feel the pain. or you hear some voice, some cry for help, and that or what do you call that? Vision, and then here oral or audio, but yeah. So the oral sensor can actually oral receptor, auditory receptor can feel the emotion of hearing a cry, something like that. So this is the closest example that I could give. So what you see also feels, what you feel also sees. So the feeling is not the byproduct or result of seeing something. You don't have to see first to feel. When you see, you feel. Yeah. So I think you put it more simply, you feel by seeing, and that feeling and seeing are done by the same subject or the same observer, same mental entity. Anyway, so that is the letter R, is the white letter R. The lotus appears as a white letter R, which transforms into a white moon disk. The moon disk serves as a cushion. Cushion. So all the deities that you might have seen always have a moon cushion, and sometimes they would have a sun cushion on the moon cushion. To put it simply, the moon represents bodhicitta, or great bliss at certain times, and the sun represents the great wisdom. So a lot of time, if the deity is wisdom specific deity like Manjushri, then you would have him sitting on a sun disk, which is seated on a moon disk, like a double layer mattress. So in this case, it's the white disk, or the moon cushion. The moon represents the term moon in Sanskrit actually is relatable to bodhicitta, is relatable to the feminine energy, etc. Anyway, this transforms into the moon disk or the moon cushion. The R letter transforms into the moon cushion. R letter is what? As the bliss, great bliss. Pam is the wisdom. Yeah, Pam is the wisdom. Pam turns into the white lotus. Then on the top of the white lotus. So therefore, even before starting anything, this is very important, okay? Ahong, yeah. So you have Pam Ahong, right? So this is very important because this is what differentiates a tantric practice from a Buddhist and from a non-Buddhist to a Buddhist practice. Without the understanding of emptiness, and transforming emptiness, the essence of emptiness, into the letter Pam or this and that deity, then deity, deity visualization is not something unique to Buddhist practices. In Hinduism, also have the deity yoga very much. So it's nothing unique to the Buddhist. So in order to, of course, you need to have the refuge part, but refuge is something that is like a precursor. It's a precondition. But while doing the actual, Vajrayana practices, if you don't have the understanding, just an idea of what emptiness means, then it becomes not only, it just becomes like a mere imagination. You are just transforming it's like when you were a kid, you think you were Spider-Man, or I don't know, whatever your superhero characters were when you were a kid. So, or like maybe you have this historical warriors of the land, whatever. So when you were a kid, you think you are that great hero, those that. So it's just same as that. Imagining yourself as a deity means just like that. Doesn't have any spiritual significance. So therefore, understanding emptiness or getting a sort of a vague idea of what emptiness is very important. So all the time, we say that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence. And that understanding of emptiness, right? With that understanding of emptiness turns into different syllable. In this case, the syllable Pam. and the palm transforms into the lotus flower. If you want to go a little bit deep into the lotus flower, the specific of lotus flower, the lotus flower itself is white, but with a tone of redness, like you would usually have in most of the like that. And of the stem is green, and the same stem should be very straight, like an arrow. Natural stems are kind of curvy, but it should be very straight. And then on top of that, basically the white lotus is there. And on top of the lotus, there's the moon cushion, and the moon cushion does not come out of the blue, just like the lotus does not come out of the blue. The moon also does not come out of the blue. It comes from the understanding of it's come from the great bliss. Generally, great bliss is the aftermath of seeing emptiness for real. So you see a nice thing, then you become happy, right? So you see the ultimate truth and emptiness, and as an aftermath, you have the great bliss or some sort of a bliss. But then that great bliss, the main goal is to unify these two, make these two into one, or the feeling, to making that feeling, the emotional and the intellectual into one thing, right? At the center of the letter R is that great bliss. The letter R transforms into a physical form, which is letter the white bliss transforms into the letter A. I is here. And then the R transforms into the white moon disk, the cushion, right? And at the center of the moon disk appears the white home. So this home is the culmination of understanding of emptiness and the great bliss. So home is basically the mixture, you can say, of seeing the emptiness and deriving joyfulness from it. So the emotion, the feel and the seeing has become one, the union. So that appears as a white home. Then the white home transforms into a five-spoked Vajra. So this is a Vajra, five-spoked Vajra. The letter home is here, last one. And then home, so the Sanskrit home has two dots with a circle, basically two circles and a dash here, like that. It's like a division, is it? Division, divide, right? Division sign, divide sign. It's like, looks like this. Yeah. So home has to be like that. You can draw on that. So to tell you the meaning behind this thing, it will take one day maybe. Anyway, so it should be like that. Home. This is home. So like a divide, right? Divide sign, like a divide sign, like that. Okay. So the home represents the culmination of wisdom and the wisdom seeing emptiness and the great bliss enjoying or experiencing seeing emptiness, but as one. The emotion and the intellect is one. So that is represented, that is letter home. So that the union of great bliss and the wisdom transforms into the letter home. That's important. Okay. So now that letter home transforms into the Vajra. So Vajra means a lot of things, indestructibility. It also means inseparable. So inseparable means cannot separate, right? One. Inseparability of what? Coming back to what we just discussed. Inseparability of the feeling, emotion, the great joy, and the intellect, which is seeing the emptiness directly, or the wisdom of seeing emptiness. The wisdom of seeing emptiness and the great bliss of seeing emptiness cannot be separated. So that is inseparability or indestructibility, right? The great bliss, the joy that comes from seeing emptiness, and the joy from seeing emptiness are both one. It's part of the same Vajra, same entity. So this is what is represented by the Vajra, indestructible. Indestructible. It is indestructible because it cannot be destroyed, or it cannot be separated. This is, we call this Vajra. This is representational Vajra, symbolic Vajra. The real Vajra is the union of great bliss and the wisdom of seeing emptiness. That is the real Vajra. And this is the representative or symbolic Vajra. Anyway, so it comes, the letter Hum transformed into the Vajra. So it is said, according to the tradition, it's not listed here, because it's a white Vajra, or in the heart of the Vajra is a letter, heart of the Vajra center. There is the letter Hum. So there's a moon cushion, white, letter Hum, white, Vajra. The Vajra is white. Yeah. So if you have three types of white thing, if you write something on here with a white pen, you cannot see it. It will be indiscernible. You cannot read it. Okay? You need to use black ink or some other form of ink. Similarly, if it's white, cannot distinguish. So it is said that the color of the cushion, the moon cushion, is that it's a milky white, milk color. The whiteness of the letter Hum, or the whiteness of the Vajra. Okay, so before there was a Hum which transformed into the Vajra. So therefore there is no letter Hum standing. You understand? Because there was the flower, lotus, on the top of the, so let's do like this. There is the lotus seed, lotus flower. On the top of the lotus is the moon cushion. The moon cushion. First you have letter Pam. Pam transforms, disappear, no more Pam. Pam transforms into lotus. No more Pam. Then you have the A, which is great bliss, right? Then the A disappears or transforms into the moon cushion, right? So no more A. A is also disappeared. A is disappeared. Basically, the two letters have disappeared. The Pam and A has disappeared. In the place where, in place of Pam, there is the lotus flower. In place of the letter A, there is the moon cushion. Okay, so moon and lotus and moon there. And then on the moon cushion, the letter Hum comes. There's a white Hum. Then the white Hum is the combination of wisdom and great bliss. So now that transform, okay, that changes its form into a Vajra. So you no longer have Hum, you no longer have Pam, you no longer have A. Pam has turned into the lotus, the A has turned into the moon cushion, and the Hum has turned into the Vajra. Okay, 5-spoke Vajra. This is 5-spoke Vajra, 5 spokes. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spokes. You might say there's 10 spokes, 5 here, 5 here. No, because the 5 spokes, basically the great bliss and the emptiness, wisdom, is one, same. So therefore it's 5 spokes. The reason it's called a 5-spoke Vajra and not a 10-spoke Vajra is so that you can have this understanding. Actually, in reality, it is 10-spoke. But the reason it's called 5 spokes, if you wear a glove and tell people how many fingers are there, you will say, oh, 5 fingers, right? We're not going to say 10 because, or if you remove the glove, then there's 5, and then there's another 5 underneath. You're not going to say that. So anyway, so like that. So at the heart of the Vajra, now there's a letter hum. So it's a different hum. Okay, it's not the previous hum which transformed into the Vajra. The Vajra is still there. The preceding hum has disappeared or transformed into the Vajra. But at the heart of the Vajra is a letter hum, just a similar hum. It's like that. So now you have the cushion, moon cushion, white, Vajra, white, and the tiny hum at the core center of Vajra, which is also white. So to distinguish these three, the moon cushion is the color of milk, milky white. The Vajra is the whiteness of the Vajra is the color of a crystal, crystal white, crystal white. The hum at the center of the Vajra, right, is the color of a conch shell. Conch. In general, conch are white, right? Conch in the sea, seashell, conch. Like that, right? You have seen that conch. So the conch. So moon cushion, milky color, the Vajra, crystal color, and the letter hum in the conch shell color, like that. So once you get that, the rest is already in the book. So it's kind of simple. Light radiates out from the Vajra into the 10 directions, filling all of the space. This light fulfills the two purposes. So maybe you want some explanation here. Two purpose means one purpose is to serve yourself. The other purpose is to serve others. Serving yourself means to be the best version of yourself, Buddhahood, and to serving others means to alleviate the suffering of sentient beings. So this is the two purposes. So the light goes out and does that, and the reabsorbs into the Vajra. The Vajra dissolves into light from which appears Vajrasattva. Okay, after doing what it's supposed to do, so doing service to yourself and the others, service to yourself always comes first. We think in the Vajrasattva, in the Mahayana teaching, usually we say, we keep saying like others are more important than yourself. In Vajrayana, even though you might not phrase it that way, but you are almost saying like yourself before others. Because if you are, this is very similar to, we have car travel, train travel, and air travel, which is the highest form of travel. In air travel, they say, put your mask on first before you put it on others. So in Vajrayana, it's something like that. They're telling you to, be the best version yourself first. Anyway, after doing that, the light comes back. Light radiates out and does just the light itself does all of that. And the light comes back and then fills the space. Then this light develops into Vajrasattva, okay, which is on your head. He is white with one face, 2 arms. His left hand holds a bell slightly upturned at his left hip. His right hand holds a Vajra at his heart. He's sitting in the Vajrasana posture, so basically fully cross-legged. He's crossed in full lotus. That means he's dressed in robes of heavenly silk and adorned with precious jewel ornament. At his crown is the Om. Throat is this A. So in general, so this is something you know about this in general, but something to pay attention here is Om Ahom. Om Ahom is here once again, Om Ahom. In general, Om Ahom, in Om Ahom represents the mind-body speech. Om is body, A is speech, and Hum is mind. In general, Om is white, A is red, and Hum is blue. But because this is a purification practice, it is said, according to the lineage tradition, it is wiser, it's better to visualize the Hum as white. So Om white, A red, and Hum white. Generally, Hong is blue. The mind is blue. But for this particular practice, if you visualize the Hong as white, it resonates with the practice. It's better that way. So, Hong syllable is there. Around the edge of the moon disk, the moon disk sitting at the heart, standing clockwise are the 100-syllable mantra. From the Hong at the Vajrasattva, and then from the Hong at the Vajrasattva's heart, much light radiates our invoking the divine wisdom. Okay, so you make the offerings, then the Za Hong Pang Ho. I need to explain that one. Please grant the initiation of vegetation. So this part, you make the offerings. So usually after doing this practice, you do the offering. After doing the two purpose, fulfilling the two purposes, helping yourself and helping others. Because then after you help others, then you become worthy of meeting the Vajrasattva or whatever deity it is. Generally, if you have, to meet a very important person, you need to have be worthy of seeing that person. Otherwise, so like that, once you are worthy, then you can make the offerings, see the deity and make the offerings. So wisdom beings basically means the deity, what we usually refer to as the deity. The deity, because as a trainee, we are visualizing ourselves as a deity or on our head, but the deity resides in what is known as their natural abode. So the wisdom beings means the deity that is staying in their natural abode. So they were invited, they were invoked. They come. Za Hong Pang Ho, we talked last night. Za means invoke or invite. Hong is to enter. Bam is to become inseparable, one. And Ho means joy. Come, enter, one, become one, and then stabilize. In other words, stabilize, firm, and then joy. Again, much light radiates out from the divine heart of the Vajrasattva, invoking the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the aspect of 5 Dhyana Buddhas. So the 5 Dhyana Buddhas, okay, we'll not talk about 5 Dhyana Buddhas today. Basically, 5 Dhyana Buddha represents the 5 wisdoms. The Dharma wisdom, Dharma Dhatu wisdom, or the wisdom of truthfulness, the wisdom of equality, the wisdom, mirror-like wisdom, then wisdom of discriminative wisdom, seeing everything as it is, like singularly marking or identifying things, and then all-accomplishing wisdom. So these are the 5 wisdom. They actually are in turn the transformation or the end result of something called the 5 poisons. So we have the 3 poison already, we know that. On top of the 3 poison, there is the ego or pride, and then the jealousy. So the 5 Dhyana Buddhas are Vajrasana, Akshobhya, Ratnasambhava, Amitabha, and Amoghasiddhi. So Vajrasana represents what is known as the Chunyi or the Dhammadhatu wisdom. That is your ignorance transformed into the Dhammadhatu. And Dhammadhatu is represented by Vajrasana, white color. Akshobhya is anger. Anger transforms into mirror-like wisdom. So in a mirror does not discriminate anything. Whatever is reality, it's displayed in the mirror. So that is represented by Akshobhya, blue color, horse of Vajra. Then Ratnasambhava, yellow color, he is pride, ego. Ego becomes wisdom of equality, seeing everything as equal, no more ego. Equal means no ego. If there's equal, there's no ego. Right? So that's Vajrasattva on the south, Akshobhya on the east, Vajrachana in the center, generally speaking. And then on the north, west, Amitabha. Pure land of Amitabha is always on the west. Amitabha is attachment, greed, turning into the wisdom of discrimination. So discriminative wisdom. If you're able to identify each cause and everything, to see everything as it is, like on a minute level, then you would not be, you wouldn't be attached to something. All these objects that we find pleasant, appealing to our eyes. Let's say, for example, this is a very famous art. I don't know, Mona Lisa, right? So just say, for example, very nice art. If you look, okay. Can you see? No. If you just get it very close, cannot. In order to, basically, if you go to the fine, minute detail of the art ceases to be what it is. In order to enjoy art in general, music or art, anything, you need to have a creative mind. If you are logical, if you go very logical and mathematical, you will not be able to enjoy any artistic display, right? Great artists may have an mathematical or sort of intellectual background, but in order to enjoy the art as it is, you need to loosen up. If you go too mathematical, you will not be able to see the beauty of the art in general. So therefore, if you do not see the beauty, then you do not get liking to it, do not get attached to it. So the wisdom of discrimination is going too deep, digging out all the flaws and everything so that you won't get attached to it. Amitabha. Then Amoga city, blue, green color. Amitabha is red. On the what is what you call that? The west. No. North. So Amoga city on the north, green color. That is the jealousy. I think in general, we associate green with jealousy, right? Envy. So green, Amoga city, jealousy. Jealousy turns into all fulfilling wisdom. Wisdom, yeah, all accomplishing wisdom, sorry. Like that. If you do not have jealousy, you will be able to fulfill your wishes. Anyway, this is the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. It's usually called the 5 Buddha families. Anyone becoming a Buddha, anyone who is going to become a Buddha, anyone who has already became a Buddha belongs to one of these 5 families. Usually that is known as the Rikki-Tabok Tibetan, lord of that class. You see, Chenrezig has a Amitabha on his head. That means Amitabha is the lord of the class for Chenrezig. That means Chenrezig is the transformation of greed attachment into compassionate, loving kindness form, etc. like that. So that's why there's a very thin line between attachment and love. A lot of time we think we are loving and then we are into attachment, craving, etc. like that. And you make the offering, or then you also bless yourself do the self-initiation, sort of an initiation there. This is to, simulate when you become the Buddha, the deities bless you, initiate you with the nectar. So this is to, simulate that format. Then you make the offering once again, and then you do the praise, then you do the mandala offering, and then you ask the Vajrasattva to, purify all the defilements, and then you recite the mantra, Om Vajrasattva Samaya mantra, And then after that, you pledge that due to my negative action, please, due to my due to my delusions and ignorance, I have created negative actions, damaging my samaya. And basically, you ask for forgiveness. And because you have done it so sincerely, Vajrasattva, who doesn't have any grudge or discrimination towards you, says, my child, your breach of samaya is forgiven, and all your obscurations to the Buddhahood, enlightenment, and your negativity attached to the mind are washed away and purified. And then after that, Vajrasattva dissolves into light and sinks into me. Then my three points of entry, body, basically mind, body, and speech. Because you do things with your mind, speech, or the body. And the Vajrasattva's body, your mind, body, speech, and the Vajrasattva's mind, body, speech becomes one. Completely one, without differentiation. So the analogy used in the text is water being poured into water. And you cannot, if you pour tea into water, then you can see, oh, there's the tea part, there's the water part. But if you pour water into water, then it just merges like that. So that is one aspect. Then you can go to appendix 1. This is how to, so at the same time when you are practicing like that, especially when you are doing the Vajrasattva meditation, the mantra recitation. So the appendix part, okay, the first method, second method, third method. This is applied when you are either before or during the mantra recitation. Prior to the mantra recitation, you will be visualizing what has been outlined in the first two pages. First page, yeah, first and the second page. The visualization of the deity and etc. like that. So what happens is at the same time, the Vajrasattva. So this is comes at the culmination of Vajrasattva coming and sitting on your crown, right? Basically, all the home transforming into Vajrasattva and all that. So then the Vajrasattva comes back to your crown after doing after fulfilling the true purposes, right? It comes back, and at that moment, or while you are reciting the Vajrasattva mantra, either before reciting the mantra or during the recitation of the mantra, then you can put into practice the appendix part. So there are 3 methods of purification: first, second, and third. To simply put, so I think they've done a good translation saying that, because in Tibetan it's very confusing. The first method is called upward method, then downward method, and then heaped up method, like everything put together, heaped. That's the literal wording in Tibetan. But the confusing part is the upward method is actually pushed downwards, and the downward method is actually pushed upwards. That is because of the grammatical structure of Tibetan wording. So that's why if you say first method, second method, third method, it's very simple. So first method is to push it downwards, even though it's called upward. If you look for it in the text, you will find it's called the upward method. Basically, what it means is being pushed down from the top or up. So that's why it's called upward method in Tibetan. Anyway, so the negativities are pushed down from the nectar is being poured to your crown, and then all the negativities are pushed down like you fill up a bottle of water, right? So it's being pushed down, and the negativity, everything comes out in the form of stool, in the form of basically all the dog, lizard, the scorpions, frog, different things. So there's a specific sort of instruction as to what are the scorpion, what are the lizard, this and that, but we will not go into that. Anyway, downward, push down, and everything just pushed down. It's very strong, think of that as a waterfall. Waterfall, it's pushed down, like a jet streaming. Waterfall is better. Waterfall, and everything pushed down. And from all parts of all the pores within your body, all these negativities comes out in the form of dirt, stain, basically all the dirty things that you can think of comes out in that way. The other way is to fill it up slowly, like you are filling. This is from bottoms up, so it fills up like water being filled up in a bottle. So when you fill up the water bottle, let's say I have some tea leaves or whatever, then as I fill it up, those substances, those things start coming up, floating upwards, and slowly they will be pushed out. That is the upward method, the second method. And the third method is, once again, immense powerful light energy. The little difference is the first and the second version, when you are pushing it downwards, or when you're pushing it upwards, or like the first and the second methods are done in the form of a nectar, which is a liquid. Okay, it's like a milk-like liquid. The example used was you have a pouch of milk or a milk packet, and then you poke a hole on it, and the milk just starts dripping. As it comes down, it fills you up, and then that's how the purification or the flushing is done, downwards or upwards, two ways. The third method is using powerful light energy. It's not a liquid, it's the light. Then limitless, blissful energy, the light comes from the Vajrasattva's heart immediately as it makes contact with the. So like basically, you can follow it to yourself. First two are liquid, milk-like liquid, white. The last one is light. Yeah, so that's to simplify. Then you have the mantra. I think that sort of sums it up. Okay, because we have some time, so I will go back to the very first morning activity. The first one, Om Sambara Sambara Vimanasara Mahajava, Om Smara Vimanasara Skara Mahajava, 7 times. This increases the merit for the day. Anything you do on 100,000 times. Then this is to mantra. This is to increase the merit of mantra recitation. There the Om Dare Dare Bendare Swaha 7 times once again. Then this is to bless them, mala, rosary. Every time we regard that, because mantra is a very holy object. Usually we keep 2 types of mala, something that you display to others, and another which you do not show to others. A lot of Hindu practitioners, they always never show their mala, but in Buddhism, I mean, mala has become a form of a jewelry. The more expensive, the better. Anyway, it says that it's likened to something like if you have your you don't want anyone to see your bank account, right? Either because it's too low or even if it's too high, you don't want people to see it. You want so it's something very sensitive. So you don't want people to see that. Anyway, if it falls on the ground, or you climb over it, put your feet on it, whatever, things like that. If something like that happens, then the mantra kind of the mala sort of has lost its touch or the blessing. So we need to bless it again. So in any case, we never know where we take them. There's the practice of not taking your practice mala even to the restroom, like that. In any case, whatever you may have done, if you do the blessing of the mantra 7 times, then blow on it. Om Rujramani Pravada, Om Rujramani Pravada, Om Rujramani Pravada, 7 times, bless it. Then it restores the energy, for lack of a better word. Then this one, you must bless the Om Krechara Kana Om Swaha, Om Krechara Kana Om Swaha 7 times. After that, you have to spit on your feet. By doing so, any animals, insect, any living being that you trample upon will be born in the 33rd. It's not said here, but according to the sutra, it said that they will be born in the 33rd heaven, right? Which is the highest form of heavenly, like that. Then the last one is Om Yedharma. A lot of times we say, okay, whatever I do, things are not coming. I work very hard, but the result is not coming. That is because in Tibetan we say Demdil Chuba. Demdil means dependent origination. Dependent origination, for a lack of a better word, is cause and effect. If cause and effect is not in the right order, then nothing you do will come out successfully. So in order to set your cause and effect in the right order, or to use the Tibetan phrase, Dendil Digpa. Dendil is dependent origination. Digpa means to fix your dependent origination, or to fix your cause and effect, causal law of causality, to fix your law of causality. You recite this mantra. Om Yedama, Hindu Brahma, Yedun Dekanta Tagato, Ewata Dekanchaya Nurata Ewamadi, Mahashamana Soha, 3 times, like that. Okay, so we have a little time to do the practice. You want to do that? Okay. Sangye Junan, Sangye Junan, Wan, Chanju, Pardon, Nani, Gyapso, Che. Sangye Jinso, Yime, Sonan, Gem, Jola, Benche, Sangye, Joba, I offer refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By merit of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separate from higher rebirths and the supreme bliss of liberation. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred, not holding some close and others distant. Above the crown of one's head appears a white syllable Pama. This transforms into a white lotus, which is clear and radiant. At the center of the lotus appears a white which transforms into a white moon disk. At the center of the moon disk appears a white home. This transforms into a white 5-spoked Vajra marked by Hum at the center. Light radiates out from the Vajra into the 10 directions, filling all of the space. This light fulfills the 2 purposes and then reabsorbs into the Vajra. The Vajra dissolves into light from which appears Vajrasattva. He is white with one face and 2 arms. His left hand holds a bell slightly upturned at his left hip. His right hand holds a Vajra at his heart. He is sitting in the Vajrasana posture, his legs crossed in full lotus, his dress in robes of heavenly silk and adorned with precious jewel ornaments. At his crown is the syllable Om. At his throat, the syllable A. At the center of a flat moon disk in his heart is the syllable Hum. Around the edge of the moon disk, standing clockwise, are the 100 syllables mantra. From the Hum at Vajrasattva's heart, light radiates, or invoking the divine wisdom being. I think it's light radiates out, not our, out. Omo Vajrasattva Sabari Vara Argam Padithan Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sabari Vara Padithan Padithan Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sabari Vara Pushpe Padithan Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sabari Vara Dimbe Padithan Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sabari Vara Aloge Padithan Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sapari Vara Ginde Padizam Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sapari Vara Nyude Padizam Soha. Omo Vajrasattva Sapari Vara Sharda Padizam Soha. The invoked wisdom beings merges and become inseparable with the visualized deity. Again, much light radiates out from the divine heart of Vajrasattva, invoking the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the aspect of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Om Panchakuta Sapari Argampa Dimpushpe Dube Alo Yikere Shantabadi Soha. O Tathagatas, please grant the initiation of Vajrasattva, the initiating deities, let the vase fill with nectar and pour it on Vajrasattva. The nectar fills his holy body, and from the overflow on his crown appears Akshobhya Buddha. Because Akshobhya is the family head of the Vajrasattva, yeah. Om Sarva Tadagata Abhisheka de Samaya Shi Omo Vajrasattva. Somebody would argue about the Pushpitivi Avalikin. Soha. I praise the non-dual divine wisdom, the magnificent inner jewel ornament of all mother sentient beings, which has the characteristic nature of perfect, unchangeable, great, everlasting bliss. By the power of this everlasting blissful wisdom, you release all sentient beings from negative energy, the breakage of pledges and vows, and all negativities of body, speech, and mind. Indestructible, magnificent wisdom man. To you I prostrate. So she put the Chushin Mendoza. Mirabnichen de Gemba de Sange Shindo Mide Vua. To Gunamda Shima Jubara Shua Ida Mogurura Namdala Kamniya Daraya Mi. O Bhagavan Vajrasattva, destroyer of all defilements, you who have all realizations and have passed to the other shore, I request you to purify all the negativities of myself and all other sentient beings, and to wash away the defilement that have resulted from the breach and degeneration of my samaya. After this request is made, much radiant light goes out from the home at Vajrasattva's heart into the 10 directions. This washes away all the defilement and negativities of all mother sentient beings. It also becomes an offering for all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. The essence of their transcendental wisdom knowledge comes back in the form of light and sinks into the home and mantra garland at Vajrasattva's heart. From the home and the mantra at Vajrasattva's heart, much blissful white nectar flows down and enters through your crown, purifying all negativities, defilements of body, speech, and mind. No more Vajrasattva samaya nobody. Do the mebo, so the higher mebo, so the higher mebo, and then the mebo, so the mebo, and the Lord, the mother, the Mr. Miro, and so the other members of the Mizabama, the Master, the Mebo, the mebo, the higher mebo, so the higher mebo, and the mebo, so the mebo, the Saga, the Mr. Miro, and so the other members of the Mizabama, the Master. O medasa da zaman yapılır bana medasa da dönüp kararında bir bozulma kayma bozulma kayma anlar da bir bazı da bir bazı da bir mazlum ederdim şöyle vurum ha nasıl oldu da kadar bir da semen sunan o medasa da zaman yapılır bana medasa da dönüp kararında bir bozulma kayma bozulma kayma bazı da bir bazı nasıl da bir bazı da bir mazlum ederdim şöyle vurum ha nasıl oldu Dedim memnun da bir zaman mağazama da o medasa da zaman yapılır bana medasa da dönüp kararında bir bozulma kayma bozulma kayma anlar da bir bazı nasıl da bir bazı da mazlum ederdim şöyle vurum ha nasıl oldu Então, me mudei mesmo para uma mais da um pedaço da manhã, uma coisa pedaço do não pode ter me gosto do ganho, me gosto do meu sócio de pedaço da o bom, na zona da onde mesmo, me mudei mesmo para uma sama só do um pedaço da manhã, uma coisa pedaço do não pode ter me gosto do ganho, me gosto do ganho, me manda do me gosto de pedaço da uma de mesmo, eu vou na zona da onde mesmo. Mas mais do pedaço da manhã, uma coisa pedaço do não me gosto do ganho, me gosto do ganho, na da me gosto de pedaço da uma de mesmo, eu vou Mesmo 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 mal mesmo não mesmo do também mano bana mesmo do não mano do mesmo do cara do cara mesmo não do mesmo mal do mesmo do mesmo não tinha como mal mesmo 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 mal mesmo não mesmo do também mano bana mesmo do não mano do mesmo do cara mesmo do cara não do mesmo mal do mesmo Jadi menjadi guru maha bhagavan sahaja dalam mesmo 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 Mahasamaya sada hum bewa hum. So we discussed last night the pet home pet or the pet. So in general, home pet is part of the higher yoga tantra, especially like the higher yoga tantra. So in but in general Vajrasattva practice like this we are doing, we even the home and the pet are home pet and the om. These are also not part of the 100 syllable in general. But you have the om home because it represents om at the very beginning, and then the and the home, we say it because that is om home is mind, body, speech. So that actually concludes or it's all encompassing. So it makes a whole package when you have om home. So it is not part of the 100 syllable, but when you do, it's like parceling or packaging it well with the om and the hum at the end. And because you need to add a ah as well somewhere, so you cannot just push it in between somewhere. So you have the om, the beginning, and the 100-syllable mantra, then the I and the hum as the ending. In general, but the pet is usually part of, pet is a term, mantra that is usually to do with sort of somewhat has a sort of a destructive energy to, and it's usually related to wrathful deities. So therefore, in general, you can skip that. So hum, you can do that. But if you're doing it as part of HYT practice, then you can add the pet like that. So if you're doing it usually in general, hum, because even though hum is not part of this group, but we add the hum so that it becomes a whole package, right? Om is the beginning, hum is the ending, and a is, because when you have om and hum together, you also need the a, so a is also added there, but the pet is additional, is extra, unless you are doing it the HYT version. Due to my ignorance and my delusions, I have created negative actions, damaging my samaya. I go for refuge to Guru Vajrasattva, my inner master, who is holding a Vajra, who has the power to liberate me, whose essence is great compassion for all sentient beings. Then Vajrasattva says to me, my child, your breach of samaya is forgiven, and all your obscurations and negativities are washed away and purified. After having said this, Vajrasattva dissolves into light and sinks into me. My three doors of body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's holy body, speech, and mind become completely one without differentiation. Lama Sangye Rupyone Zhuwa Jia Mangyue Bangye Sala Gubala Shoy Chanchua Simcha Limbo Jimaye Banan Giguruch Gewa Nyamba Meba Yangone Mongyo Bewala Shoy Donye Lawa Rimbo Che Maye Banam Giguruch Gewa Nyamba Meba Gone Kondo Bewala Shoy. So one thing to add, sometimes people ask like, can I do this purification for my loved one, etc. So in this case, you know the three chakras, the crown chakra, great bliss, the throat chakra, which is great enjoyment, the chakra of enjoyment, the wheel of enjoyment, and then the heart chakra, which is known as the Dhamma chakra. Last night we talked about this. This one is like an umbrella going down. This one is going upward like a plate. This is like a what do you call it? Shell, yeah, like that. So here at the heart chakra, visualize that your loved ones, okay, your siblings, your parents and your guru, your parent, whichever you want to include, these are in front of you. Your siblings on your right, your friends close, people close to you on your left, parents on the center, siblings on the right, how to say, friends and close partner, whatever, on the left, and then everyone else on the back, like that. Then you can purify. If you are doing it not just for purification, but if you are doing this purification in sort of in flux with Bodhisattva practices, which is to generate compassion for other sentient beings, especially Bodhisattva compassion is best practiced on people who, your enemies. In that case, you can replace the closest, which would be your parents. In lieu of your parents, you can put your enemies, and then you can switch the whole thing. Your enemy in the front, your parents on the right, your say siblings on the left, and then everyone else on the backside, like that. Yeah, like that. Okay. So, have a question? No question. But yes.
If you put the siblings, parents in the wrong location.
Right is sibling in general, front is parent, right is sibling, left is close friends, backside is everyone else. Yeah, Yeah. It depends which one you want to purify. In general order, your parents are the most important one, and your siblings the second, and your friends are next, and the rest are, this is how we feel in general, right? Our parents, etc. But depending on which you want to purify the most, you can actually switch the order. So you have just heard from me the order is front, right, left, back. So that means whichever you want to put on the most priority list is sit on the front and like this. Yeah. You have one question?
Say that we have to change the Vajra to Benza.
Yes.
And was that just for this mantra or throughout the
So okay, to stick with whatever you are comfortable with. In general, you asking Benza to, okay, what I said yesterday was when you are reciting it, do it as Benza because that is the transmission you has. But if you ask you, how do you pronounce this? Like it's wrong to pronounce it Vajra, Benza is Vajra. Yes, you are right. Technically, you are right, it's Vajra, but we pronounce it as Benza, right?
So we will Benza when reciting this mantra.
Yeah.
And everything else in the booklet, if it says Vajra, we just say Vajra.
No. Whenever you are chanting, you just say Benza or Metta Samaya is better because that's the transmission you received. But is it the correct pronunciation? No. Does it matter? No. Yeah. Okay. But then you will find books saying that the pronunciation matters the most. It does if you do not have a proper sort of a transmission lineage and you are just reading by yourself, then you need to do it properly. You have to follow the proper pronunciation. If your teacher gives you the mispronounced transmission, then you have to follow that one. But knowing that it's the mispronunciation, still following that one, that actually helps. If you do not know this is the wrong pronunciation, if you think this is the right pronunciation, then you are wrong. Know that this is the wrong pronunciation, but still do it by knowing that this is the right way to do it, which is a challenge. Yeah. Yes. One last. Before, right after we wake up, do it, even before the coffee. Yeah.
So you mentioned about the visualization of family members. When do we do the visualization? The beginning or?
Not the beginning, when you are doing the Vajrasattva recitation. And so basically at this part, after the request, yeah. Then after this request made much waiting light goes out from the womb, blah, 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 in this part. So either you visualize that and sit silent and without recitation, or recite the mantra and visualize at the same time too. Yeah. Last question, okay?
Yeah.
Pronunciation. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. So how am I going to pronounce? Who is right, who is wrong?
Yeah, so that's what I said. You can never be sure who is right and who is wrong. That's why follow what your teachers say. They all say differently. Oh, okay. Then choose the one. Choose the one. Choose the one which you how to say, which sits with your heart. Okay, because yeah.
Parents and siblings is left, then right is front.
No, sibling is right. Parents in the front, siblings on the right, close friends on the left, everyone else on the back.
Close friend.
Close friend, of course. You don't want to put non-close friends. Oh, grandparents, parents all together. It depends on the power, the priority. Okay, so the order is front, right, left, back. This is the order. So depending on your need, whatever you put it, you place them in that way. Okay. Both. You can do for both living and deceased. Yeah. If you are doing a living being, a deceased one,
then visualize them in their their best form, not as in they're sick when okay they have someone died, very sick. Don't visualize that way. Visualize them in their best form and then do the purification.
On the right is green because it's important. On the left is close friends. So use your spouse, your children, everything's interest, your grandchildren.
I don't know which is more important. Okay, I'm not a family man. I told you that priority is front, right, left, and back. So you decide your own priority. That's what I've been saying. The order is right, front, right, left, back. So if your dog is the most important thing, you put your dog in the front. Yeah. If your iguana lizard is the most important thing, you put the iguana in front of you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You can. Okay, so this I need to clarify. Some people have misunderstood what I've said last night. Okay. So some people have misunderstood what I've said last night. So this question came last night too, that it's not requirement. It's not part of the samaya commitment. You are not required to recite this 21 times a day. You are not required, okay? You are not required to chant this 21 times per day. Now, once again, I'm going to say another thing. You are required to chant this 21 times if you want to cancel the multiplication of your negative karma each day. Generally, as part of the initiation, there is no commitment to recite the 21 times. But if you don't want your negativities to multiply, then you must chant it 21 times. You want to cancel it? You don't want to cancel it? Up to you. It's 25, yeah. It's yeah. Then when you do the 21 in the sadhana, this that's a very difficult one. Okay. Okay, my answer is the more the merrier. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. If you do other practices and do the chanting of the Vajrasattva mantra, does it quantify as the overall 21 or not? It's very difficult to say because the Vajrasattva, when you are doing it as part of the, very difficult to say. I don't have the authority to say that this quantifies as the overall counting. Yeah. So it's beyond my authority. That's the best answer I could give. Yeah. 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 You can, yes. Yeah. But it is not a substitute for the 100 syllable. Okay. Only the 100 syllable mantra has that power to cancel out the multiplication. If you do Om Vajrasattva Om, that has a different sort of merit, but it does not work as canceling out or pausing the multiplication of the mantra. Okay.
If we only recite the 100 syllables without doing the
visualization, you don't have to. At first few days you have to read it, but then it's like a very short story with only one page. So after that you already know it, then you can just visualize yourself. It's like a storybook. First there's the flower blossoms into a white letter, blah blah blah. So very simple. Just visualize that as a storybook. Tell yourself a story and then recite the mantra. Try. If you try, then not hard. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, last one. Okay, this is the completely last one.
A simple chant Om Vajrasattva Practice. What is the merit of chanting every day and frequently?
Vajrasattva mantra in general has the power of purifying your negativities, but only reciting the 100 syllable will cancel out the multiplication part. Yeah. The other one purifies to a certain extent, but the 100 syllable has the power of canceling out the multiplication of your negativities. Yeah, yeah. So there's two different purposes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
no
you.
more question?
No more question.
Last one, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much, everyone. Yeah. No, nothing. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Question for the meaning.
Yeah.
Can I sit on the chair?
Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah, yeah, you can. Of course. No problem with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.